Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing.
We didn't plan to wear green at the same time.
You don't have to pretend.
I just looked at the computer, I was like, oh, God.
This is our St. Patrick's Day edition.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another Fun-Filled Friday.
Don't forget, we are your friendly neighborhood top position snatchers, where our mantra is, don't be
a douche.
A douche, yeah. So don't forget that. As always, last podcast we had a tip. It was an important tip. We actually had to make it two parts because first tip really is kind of a generic tip for life. Don't hate on your competitors. And then the next tip is, and don't black hat with important sites.
Yes.
This apparently is going to become a Google bashing
kind of
podcast.
sort of. You could say today's podcast is about don't put all your eggs in the Google basket.
Ooh.
And we're going to tell you why you don't put all your eggs in the Google basket today.
Okay, so not so much bashing, just
because they may kick over your own. They may kick over your basket.
Yeah. And then everything's all done. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, and the rest of the tip was, don't black hat with an important site. I think the point there to make is, really, if you're Google listening, what we're saying is don't black hat at all ever. And if you're a listener and you want to play around with black hat, just don't do it with an important site, because it will eventually get banned. That is our belief. We got some reviews. This is cool. We had a run of listeners in Australia. This is pretty cool. Their whole East Coast, Melbourne, Canberra. Look at the number on Canberra. 300 downloads. Sydney, Brisbane, and Gold Coast. I spent some time in Sydney. Unbelievable place. I can't wait to go back. But that's the whole East Coast, East Coast of Australia is apparently just digging our podcast, and we're digging Australians. Australians are cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, they drink a lot and tell the truth. And they have that great word, perving. Gotta love that word.
I didn't know that was a word.
Yeah. And then we got a review. This is from Damiso Lockhart. It says, I think he's actually listening right now. Your podcast is my religion. Just got done listening to the last podcast. What was Best Buy thinking? Anyway, keep the shows coming. I'm addicted. And we have that was on May 5th. We have such a delay in when things were posted and whatever. So I'm assuming that's the Best Buy and the Evo iPhone, where the dude who worked at a Best Buy.
Probably so. I was trying to figure that out. Damiso, hey man, if we're your religion, why you ain't been paying your tithe?
That's a good question. I don't even seriously.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You better pay your tithe, fool.
Well, part of the tithe comes in a review, so we'll take that in kindly asking that you actually pay tithe. Stephen Ducalo, greetings from Ireland. Hey guys, here's my long overdue review, and I'm giving you a 5-star rating. Again, this is long, so I'm going to read it quickly. Which you truly deserve. Just finished listening to SEO 101. That's our SEO podcast 101, not the competitor podcast called SEO 101. We are not sending you there. Apparently, we will make no comment about them. And it really sums up all the good advice you have given to folks like myself. I started listening back at the end of last year, just after I launched my site. Applying your methodologies has seen my stats go from 176 visits in January to 747. That's an airplane. Last month. And page views go from 800 to 3,000 in the same period, and it's still rising. Also now, number 2 search result for my target key phrase. I will knock the number 1 guy off soon. I'd say give the number 1 guy a punch in the face, but that would be an honor, and we just want to kick him out of the way.
We're going to knock him off. We don't condone murder. So.
Just to be clear.
I just watched Donnie Brasco last night, so we don't condone murder.
We don't, yeah.
Yeah.
And this was an actual, those reviews were on our Facebook page. By the way, you can find our Facebook page, facebook.com/E-Webstyle. Twitter us, tweet us, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/E-Webstyle. Send us an email, podcast@e-webstyle.com. The email does need the dash. And we've got a YouTube page. There's other ways to stalk us. You guys know how to find us. DFWSEM submitted a review on iTunes. We love it. You go onto iTunes, you create an account. This is like a 5-minute or less process. Submit a review. We love it. We got about 40 reviews or so. And it says, go back and download all of the previous podcasts. They all have great information for even an experienced SEO, SEM person. By the way, DFWSEM is Dallas-Fort Worth Search Engine Marketing Association. So this is an association in Dallas focused on search engine marketing who listens to our podcast. That is such an honor. He actually sent us an email with kind of a breakdown of all the things that we should be doing on our website. It's
always good to get love from somebody else in the industry that says, hey, I'm in the industry, but I actually still listen to your podcast. That was from David Wolf. He's actually a board member of dfwsem.org. And he sent us an email and said, hey, and kind of put out an offer to members or people that live in the DFW area. If you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Arlington, Texas area, David is a board member, and he would like to invite you to attend their monthly meeting. And if you are interested, the first couple people that say they would like to attend, he will give you a free pass to that meeting. So email us. We'll get you his contact information. So that's what's up, man. If you're in that area, go check them out. We need one of those in Houston.
Yeah.
We need a HOUSEM.org.
Wouldn't it be IAG?
IAG.
What? No, what's IAH?
Oh, I was like, I don't know what
the hell is IAG? Wait, I don't know, but no. I don't know what that stands for, and no, it wouldn't be that. Hey, we still have a question out on our Facebook page, so go hit our Facebook page on the left. There's a questions. We're wondering what industry you guys are in. Are you B2B service? Are you B2B product? Are you B2C, business to consumer service, or business to consumer product? We're trying to get some reasonable amount of stats so we can actually say something about it. And right now we have like 5 people who have submitted. So go out there and do that favor too. This is pretty interesting. There's a Mac, you probably didn't know this, there's a Mac malware scare.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people who don't have Macs don't know that. And I just recently got a Mac, and so I'm not really scared yet. But apparently, just like on PCs, you go to a website, and then a web page will pop up, and it'll be scanning and said, 8 viruses found, click here, and we can clear them out. And I actually had one client who paid $30 3 times to get rid of his virus. Now, it always makes me wonder, what was he looking at that he was so nervous that he'd rather pay $30 than give me a call, because we're the IT company for that particular. Ultimately, he gave me a call and wasted $90 on the software. Anyway, it's called Mac Defender. It's kind of the first one that's really majorly targeted the Mac. It's really interesting, and it's kind of like a field of sheep without a sheepdog to protect them, because all these Mac people are like, I'm safe. Not really.
Anymore.
Not anymore. I like this news. Google Voice and Sprint have integrated. So you can actually do, and I'll probably be doing this because we use Sprint, and so all the features of Google Voice, which are have it ring at multiple numbers and have it transcribe your voicemails and send it via email, all that good stuff, is actually available to me, and I'm going to try that out. Maybe I'll give you a report. And one punch in the face to Patrick Goodman. He is probably not listening. He's on vacation in I think it's in Florida right now. He's a plumber who's been a long-time listener and finally reached out to us, and we're going to be helping him with his unlimited lifestyle campaign, if you will. It's going to be pretty cool. So, what do we got? That's all I got in terms of news.
Let's talk about Google today. We ran across a couple articles about Google, and everyone talks about Google and how Google is great, and but really, Google is just another for-profit company that happens to provide great services, but they screw a lot of people over sometimes. There's a guy I follow on Twitter. He just said that, and he wrote a book, and the cover of the book is a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a sheep's costume on. It's got Google across his chest. I thought it was a great analogy for Google. So basically, we're going to talk about why you don't want to put all your eggs in the Google basket. Google controls the search market right now. So you pretty much have to succumb to their will, but you shouldn't base your entire online marketing strategy on Google, and we'll tell you why.
And we would even suggest that you shouldn't base your entire marketing strategy online.
Yes.
Now, that does depend on your business, but we think that there's a lot of value to what you can call brick and mortar marketing, which may be radio or billboards. One of the most cost effective in terms of millions or thousands of views per dollar is a billboard. Now, it clearly doesn't have the targeting that internet marketing has. We feel that there's significantly more value in internet marketing, but there's some people still who just aren't going to succumb to internet marketing. Like, I'm in a networking group. Our IT guy, he said he's got ads turned off. He's got some component installed on his computer. He never sees ads. Like, when he's at clients' computers seeing ads, he's like, oh, that's what MSN looks like. Because it looks totally different when you strip out the ads. So, those are people that, a billboard has the potential to get that your online marketing never will.
Yes. So this article comes from Sage Lewis, or Sage Rock. I just know him as Sage Rock, and a great person to follow on Twitter is Sage Rock. I don't know what his Twitter handle is, but I'm going to count on Chuck to come through with that information here in a second. And he had a great article.
At Chuck.
Yeah, at Chuck to come through there. Hey, at Chuck, will you find the address of this article, please?
That was from Paul.
What he talks about in this article is he had a guest blog on the the Microsoft Adcenter website. And he talks about how he uses Microsoft Adcenter and why you should too. And it basically boils down to Microsoft Adcenter. You're going to get, Bing doesn't get nearly as many clicks as Google, neither does Yahoo. So you're not going to get the same number of clicks, but it's a great place to start. He says that basically the cost per click of using Microsoft Adcenter is lower than the cost per click of using Google AdWords. In this little experiment that he did, now the cost per lead was right around the same, but the cost per click was lower. And this
I've
particular
got some criticisms of this analysis, so we'll jump into that.
I'm not sure what the actual the industry was, but for this particular client on a 5-month span between December of 2010 and April 2011, the cost per click on AdWords was $1.06. The cost per click on Microsoft Adcenter was 85 cents. So that's a 21 cent difference. The cost per lead was right around the same, 75 on Google, 76 on Microsoft Adcenter.
That's a 20% cheaper click.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty sweet.
And so
and by the way, I did a little bit of research on one of our clients this week, and at least one of the phrases was 50% cheaper on Bing's Adcenter.
And I definitely believe that. And he says, I still see across the board lower cost per click, and additionally, it's often still easy to find really good bargains on Microsoft Adcenter. And he says he when he starts his campaigns, he says no pay-per-click campaign will be complete without using Microsoft Adcenter. So you want to use both. And if you don't know, Microsoft Adcenter runs Yahoo's. That's
search results. Yeah.
Okay, there's search results. So you should use both. Google's going to give you way more clicks. They're going to cost you more.
Per click, and of course, because there's more, you could spend a whole lot more money on Google, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I thought this was a really good article. At Chuck, I'm going to depend on him to find the... I'm finna post it. He says, I'm finna post it. So it's on its way. And I guess, Chuck, you coming up here out? But go ahead, Chris said you had a good analysis of the article itself.
There was something interesting in this article. So it broke down, like you said, from December to April, both on the Google AdWords and Bing Adcenter. And it actually came out with a per lead price for Google of $75 and for Bing of $76. And so you ask the obvious question, okay, so I paid less per click, is what this result saying? And actually on its surface, what it's saying is that the search traffic from Bing is not as likely to close as the search traffic from Google. I am not saying that. These numbers are saying that. And when you go in and look at it, there was one bad month for the Bing data, where in December of 2010, there was a conversion rate of 0.7, where the average had actually been about 1.4, 1.5 across the board for both Google and for Bing. And so if you strip out that one piece of data, the actual cost per lead was I calculated about $68. And so, there you're talking, $8 difference between a closed lead from Bing and a closed lead on Google if you leave that anomalous data. So you got to be careful. I'm surprised he didn't mention that the result of his data, if he wholeheartedly believes his data, then the real result is the fact that Google's cheaper per lead, right? I'll pay, if I know that I'm going to get a lead it's kind of like advertising on a billboard versus internet marketing. I'll pay a little bit more per impression for internet marketing because I know the impressions that I'm getting are more controllable and therefore more targeted. But the reality is the data, and maybe that's why he chose not to mention it. In fact, but I would have said that whole analysis because it looks like an anomalous. There's an anomaly in the data for December.
So that is bad, probably.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it does. Yeah, I mean, in this case, it really does.
It works cheaper per lead, but I think that falls back to the amount of traffic Google gets, right? I mean, it's kind of like Walmart. It's cheaper there it's in bulk,
right?
Versus going to some boutique shop and paying top dollar for it.
So it should be
cheaper
per lead.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting way more. You're gonna get 10 times the traffic.
The reality is that's not what works out here. In fact, if you look at let's just say April, it's $80 per lead on Google, $66 per lead on Bing. In March, it's $80 per lead for Google, actually $83. And Google stays steady, and it probably stays steadier because there's more consistent traffic, so there's enough volume to keep nice steady numbers.
Yeah.
Whereas Bing probably dropped down. Probably that's part of the reason. Yeah, see, the leads were only 11 in December, so when you have smaller numbers, you're more exposed to those anomalies. But when you look at two consistent months, the lead cost on Bing was $52 versus
$80. Yeah.
So the reality is it is cheaper on Bing. You're going to get kind of more consistent results, and there's going to be a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
One could reasonably say that you should max out your budget on Bing. Maxing out being a nefarious term because if you max it out, you're always position 1. We recommended position 2, 3, or 4. So maxing out is not the wisest idea. But max out as much as you can spend on position 3 on Bing, and then start spending money on Google. So if you only have $500 or you only have $200, spend it on Bing. You're going to get more bang for your buck.
And that's exactly what the article said. If he has a client with a lower budget, he'll start them on Microsoft Adcenter.
Well, I think, depending on budget. I mean, because that's what we were dealing with the other day.
Yeah.
If the budget is significant enough to do both, then start Bing, but definitely do AdWords.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted. This is Google, and so you definitely need to have some sort of positioning there. We search there. Like, I still search Google first.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do I.
Yeah, and
I don't actually search Bing. For my personal searches don't ever come from Bing.
And the other 85% of the world.
Yeah. The only time I search Bing is here.
I still find it amazing for like research, right?
Yeah.
How are they doing on Bing? I find it amazing how many clients we get in here who say, and we're talking about, aren't that educated about pay-per-click versus organic, and we start describing pay-per-click, and all of them say, "Oh, I never clicked there."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but Google made $3 billion
Exactly.
a year on you and everyone else never clicking there. So somebody's clicking.
I don't click there, but I'm like, you should still go there, even though I don't click there.
I do. Mainly probably because I'm researching, and you paid for it, spend your money.
No, a better line would be, you paid for it, now I'm going to spend your money.
You got the budget?
I spent it.
I got
budgets are meant to be spent. Blank stare.
Got blank stare news.
Yeah.
They should have.
2 of them, actually. The first one, big blank stare, goes to this chick, Tamale West.
Okay.
She is the designer for Yahoo's Flickr.
Okay.
She has another personal blog where she rips up Flickr.
Oh, wow.
She designed it though.
She's like, who designed this garbage?
No, she's
Okay.
like, I designed it, blah, blah, blah. Then she gets on her personal blog, and she's like, I hate the design. It's not this, it's not that, it's not usable, it's blah, blah, blah. And it's
like the functionality of the site. Like,
everything. It
like,
looks bad.
It looks, I'm going to say, it looks
sucks.
pretty, but
No.
everything else, it sucks.
It looks bad. It doesn't function well, and that's why we're losing share. And then,
Wow.
you know,
Hope you
my
have another
comment, which she
job.
probably won't approve, my comment was, you know, well, you built it. You know what I'm saying? Do something about it. And so, yeah.
My comment would have been, forgot your meds.
Yeah, split. I was about to say,
Yeah,
split
that's like
personality.
bipolar.
Like, so,
oh, it's so
Sybil.
good. It sucks. So good. It
Well,
sucks.
but I think the deeper meaning was just shows you the problems going on
Oh,
at Yahoo.
yeah.
At
right?
Yahoo,
She
okay.
probably got her hands tied. She probably can't go in there and adjust.
And adjust,
Flickr.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like, listen, this sucks, and we want it to suck. We're Yahoo, and that's what we're about.
And we're going to ride this dead horse right down into the valley of death.
A second blank stare was LinkedIn, right? This is a punch in the face, rather.
Yeah,
Like, congrats, bro.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? $100 a share.
that's what's up.
What's that put their market cap at? The value of the company is...
I don't
Something
know.
Billion. It was.
Oh, wow.
I just read it.
I had undervalued that company because when you said $100 a share, I was like, for real?
Yeah.
LinkedIn? Okay.
It was something billion.
Remember though,
2.9
that's
or
the only one that's the only social avenue for industries
something.
right now.
It's only
So-
corporate.
So if
Yeah.
social is a direction we're going and industry has